بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. The distinguished members of the panel, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقل اعملوا فسيرى الله عملكم ورسوله والمؤمنون. Many people ask this question: what can I do to get closer to my Imam? How can I maintain a close relationship with him? What can I do on a daily basis to be very close to my leader and my Imam? Ulama and scholars have offered so many recommendations and tips. Dua al-Nudba is mustahab, and many people do recite Dua al-Nudba every Friday morning. Reciting Dua al-Faraj for the Imam, Ajjal Allah Ta'ala Farajah, would help us to keep the Imam in our mind, in our heart as well. Reciting some other du'as. If you go to the supplication books, they go in details that there are certain supplications are recommended to be recited during the ghaiba time, the occultation, which is now. And all those prayers, supplications would definitely help getting us closer to the Imam alayhi salam. Our dear sister spoke earlier. When you love someone, you keep mentioning him. You keep talking about him. You keep remembering him. And many of us fall short of doing so when it comes to our beloved Imam alayhi salam. Some of us hardly remember the Imam. They hardly mention the Imam. And that's not a sign of someone who really loves the Imam. There is another dua called Dua al-Ahd. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that dua. It is mustahab to be recited every day after the morning prayer. But the most important practice, my dear brothers and sisters, according to Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, that keep us close to the Imam, Ajjalallah Farajah, is to do what the Imam wants us to do. To imitate him, to act like him, to fulfill our duties toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam in one hadith, he says, he who wants to be among the supporters of Al-Mahdi, فَعَلَيْهِ بِالْإِنْتِظَارِ, should wait for the Imam in your heart. However, while conducting piety, بالتقوى ومحاسن الأخلاق, and to conduct a good moral character. That's a very important thing, my dear brothers and sisters. We have a hadith that say every Monday and every Thursday Our a'mal, our deeds are reviewed by our Imam. And indeed, this is in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا, do good deeds. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Allah shall see your deed, the Prophet shall review your deed, and mu'minun, the true believers. And the true believers have been interpreted as our 12 Imams alayhimus salam. They will review our deed. تُعْرَضُ أَعْمَالُ الْخَلَائِقِ. Every Monday, every Thursday, our deed will be introduced to the Imam, and the Imam will look into your file. Whatever I have done in this week, the Imam will know about it. That's why we need to be careful what to send to the Imam in the weekly reporter, because he will review your deed. Everything you and I have done, the Imam will review it. We'll have a knowledge of it. The President of the United States, every day in the morning, he meets with the head of the intelligence services, who would offer him a report on worldly affairs. And he would get acquainted with major events happening in the world. That's how the leader should be. Our leader also reviews your work, your deed, your a'mal. So if I really want to have a good relationship with the Imam, I better send something that the Imam would be happy to see in my file, in my profile. One of the ulama, one of the greatest maraja and qum, was asked about our duties in the time of the ghaibah. What is our moral duties toward the Imam alayhi salam at the time of occultation? And he answers, he says, do what the Imam would be pleased with you if he finds out. And that is the best gift you can send to the Imam alayhi salam. So how can we do that? How do we conduct ourselves in a way that the Imam would be happy with us? There are certain tips, my dear brothers and sisters. One of them, the main one, is to avoid sinning. Avoid committing what's haram. If we really care about the Imam alayhi salam, we should avoid angering him, upsetting him. And no doubt committing sins would upset the Imam. Imagine when the Imam alayhi salam appears and you're about to have an audience with him. And you know in your heart that the Imam knows about you. He knows your history, your personal history. He knows that. How do you feel when you meet with him while you have committed all these sins? How do I feel when I meet the Imam knowing that I had not a good history? How do I feel about that? I feel embarrassed to meet with him. So if I want not to be embarrassed to meet with him, I better watch my behavior. And I watch the temptations that I go through in my life. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam describes the lovers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. La ba'sallu alayhi bi'ala aswatikum. Mind you that our Imams are not just ordinary people. Our love for our Imams is not a romantic love. You know, in the romantic love, two people love each other. It is based on reciprocation. He loves her and she loves him. The type of love we have for our Imams is not that type of love. Meaning, if I love the Imam, there is no assurance for me that the Imam loves me if I do not follow. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, Inna Habiba Muhammadin man ata'a Allah, wa in ba'udat luhmatuh, wa inna aduwa Muhammadin man asa Allah, wa in qarubat luhmatuh. The one who is loved by Prophet Muhammad is the one who is loved by Allah through his deed. And the enemy of Prophet Muhammad is the one who disobeys Allah, even if he is his kin. His own uncle, Abu Lahab, was the uncle of the Prophet. Abu Lahab was the uncle of the Prophet. But because he chose to be the enemy of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala condemns him in the Quran, and ultimately he was an enemy to the Prophet himself. So our love for Ahlul Bayt and for our Imam should be solely based on following them, because our love for Allah and for Ahlul Bayt is different from any other love. Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, the head of the Shafi'i madhab, has beautiful lines of poetry in which he says, تعصي الإله وأنت تزعم حبه هذا لعمري في الفعال بديع لو كان حبك صادقا لأطعته إن المحب لمن يحب مطيع. If you truly love Allah, you should follow Him. To love Allah and not to follow Him makes no sense. Because if you really love Him, you would follow Him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran tells us that the only way for Him to love us is by following His Prophet. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. Our Prophet tell them that if you love Allah and you want Allah to love you, then follow my messenger. Follow my order. So with the Imam alayhi salam, what really makes him love us, in addition to us loving him, is by following the order, by keeping on the right path, by exercising piety and good akhlaq. That would make us close to the Imam, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. Our Imams are not concerned about personal relationships. In other words, our Imams are not emotional beings. They are rational beings. Meaning, they do not judge us through our emotional feelings toward them. Rather, on how much this love and this relationship means in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How adherent I am to the rules and regulations of the very religion that they have been advocating for last 14 centuries. This is what really matters for the Imam alayhi salam. My adherence to the faith, my obedience to the faith. How much I adhere, how much I avoid sinning. If I claim to be a lover of the Imam and I want to maintain a close relationship with him, I have to ask myself this question: how do I act in my relationship with other people? Do I cheat? Do I lie? Do I manipulate? Do I accuse? If I do these things, that means the Imam is not so happy with me. On the other side, I have to ask myself, do I obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything He has ordered me? Let me share this story with you. It's a very telling story. A lady named Shutayta. She lived at the time of Al-Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, our 7th Imam. She lived in a city called Naysabur. Naysabur or Nayshabur is 100 kilometers south of Mashhad, Khurasan, where our Imam al-Rida alayhi salam is buried today. Those who have been to Mashhad, some of them go and visit her shrine in Naysabur. Who was Shutayta? Shutayta was an underdog. She was an ordinary member of the community. There was a huge Shia community in Naysabur, in the city of Naysabur. The Imam alayhi salam has a representative in Naysabur. His name is Ali ibn Muhammad al-Naysaburi. He's the wakil of the Imam. Once a year, this representative travels to Medina. He meets with the Imam. He delivers messages, questions, and khums and zakat to the Imam. He gets receipts and he comes back to Naysabur. So one year, as he was preparing to leave and go to Medina to meet the Imam, people were bringing their khums and zakat to him so he can deliver it to the Imam alayhi salam in Medina. He had a huge bag. He prepared a huge bag in which he would put all those amanas, cash, gold, silver, everything people would send to the Imam, he would put in this secure bag. The bag was getting full. The night before he travels, a lady, an elderly lady, comes to his house. And she says to him, I have something to send to the Imam alayhi salam. And he inquires from her, what do you have? She says, I have my khums to send to the Imam. He asks her, how much? How much khums you're sending? She says, 1 dirham. 1 dirham? 1 dirham is equivalent to $1 today. He says, 1 dirham? She says, yes. That's all I can afford. My khums is 1 dirham. I want you to give it to the Imam. I have a gift also, small symbolic gift, a shirt spun by me. I want you also to send it to the Imam. The representative, Ali ibn Muhammad al-Naysaburi, says, I told her, come on, I'm embarrassed to give the Imam 1 dirham and this shirt. إني أستحي من الإمام. She replied, إن الله لا يستحي من الحق. So what? This is all I can afford. This is all I can offer. And it's okay, give it to the Imam. He is my Imam, he is my leader, and he knows my capacity. Don't be ashamed of giving him my gift and my khums. The representative leaves and he comes to Medina and he meets the Imam alayhi salam and he takes his bag with him. And he says there were amounts of khums that exceeded 50,000 dirhams. One guy paid 50,000 dirham. Another guy paid 30,000 dirham. So I kept giving the Imam. And the interesting part is the Imam takes one and he often rejects the other one. 50,000 dirham the Imam rejected. And I asked the Imam why. He says, because the one who sent me this money, 50,000 dirham, is a cheater. He cheats in his business. I'm not going to take this money from him. I give him 5,000 dirham. And the Imam says, turn it back. I'm not going to take it. And I say, why, Ibn Rasulullah? He says, because the person who sent me this 5,000, he sells haram items. He sells liquor. I'm not going to accept it. Give it to him. Give it back to him. You think you can deceive the Imam? You know how some people, they go and do everything haram? They sell haram items, and then they go to the Maulanas and they tell them, yeah, this is my khums. They think they can cheat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe I'm able to deceive the Shaykh or the Maulanas, but I cannot deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah will accept the deed of those who act on piety. But to do all these kind of mischief and then I try to bribe Allah, Allah cannot be bribed. So the Imam kept accepting some, refusing some, till I finished. I delivered all the messages, all the money. And I forgot 1 dirham because that lady, when she gave me the dirham, I just throw it in the bag. So the Imam asked me, "Where is the dirham that lady gave you?" I said, oh, yes, I remember now. Shutayta? The Imam says, "Yes." "Where is the dirham she gave you?" I told him, "I'm giving it to you now." So I went to my bag, I looked for it, I searched for it, and I gave it to the Imam alayhi salam. The Imam took it from me, and he took that small gift, Shutayta, sent him. He wrote her a receipt, and then he told me, the representative, when you go back to Naysabur, give Shutayta my salam and my greeting. And here there is a gift I would like to send her. It's a kafan, a shroud that was spun by my sister Halima. And tell her privately that when she dies, I will attend her funeral. So I came back. Everybody came to my house to get the receipt. I gave the receipts to those. I got the receipt, and I told some other people that I'm sorry, the Imam did not accept your money. Come and take your money back. And then Shutayta came, and I told her the story. I said, "Shutayta, you're such a lucky lady. The Imam gives his salam. You are the only one the Imam sent his salam to. You sent him 1 dirham, but the Imam sent you his salam. And the Imam alayhi salam sent you a kafan. And he told me to tell you privately, don't tell anyone, that if you die, he will attend your funeral." Few months later, Shutayta dies. And the entire town came to participate in her funeral. The representative of the Imam, Ali ibn Muhammad al-Naysaburi, says, "I was among those who went to the cemetery to bid farewell to Shutayta's body. As we were heading to the cemetery, thousands of people were heading to the cemetery. I see a guy coming from the side of Medina, riding a camel. When I looked carefully, scrutinizing him, I found that it is Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. Now at that time, no picture was known to be displayed anywhere. Most people have not seen the Imam, so most people cannot recognize the Imam. I was the only one who was able to recognize the Imam. When I saw the Imam, I was about to scream, to say, "This is the Imam himself." The Imam waved to me with his hand, meaning keep it quiet, don't say a word. He came down off his camel, and he joined the masses as they were taking Shutayta to her grave. And I noticed when Shutayta was being buried, the Imam alayhi salam got too close to her grave, and he threw something into her grave. When I looked into it, it was the soil of Imam Hussein's grave alayhi salam. I was shocked. The Imam himself came from Medina, all the way from Medina to participate in her funeral. As the Imam was leaving, everybody was leaving back. I went to the Imam and I was going to ask him a question. Before I asked him the question, the Imam replied to me. I was going to ask him, "Is this something that you do for everyone or only for this lady?" Before I asked him that question, the Imam looked at me and he says, "Look, me and other Imams of Ahlul Bayt would attend your funeral as long as you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like that lady." So the moral of this story, my dear brothers and sisters, is that our relationship with our Imam alayhi salam is not only measured with the amount of time I spend talking about the Imam or expressing my love for the Imam. I may express my love for the Imam. I may talk about the Imam a lot, But who knows if the Imam loves me as well or not? My deed, my actions will determine if the Imam loves me or not. Not my words only. Not my rhetoric only. If we need to be close to the Imam, he has to see us where he likes to see us. Obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other thing that keeps us close to the Imam alayhi salam, my dear brothers and sisters, is to be ready to meet with him. Let us all ask this question. Are we all ready to meet with the Imam? Hold on, don't answer. Before you answer, I want to tell you something. We call ourselves often, the supporters of the Imam. Are we truly the supporters of the Imam? We can claim that we are lovers of the Imam. We love the Imam. But do you know how much it takes to be a supporter of the Imam? And the Imam is not looking for lovers. He's looking for supporters. And I assure you, most of us are not true supporters of the Imam. Because if we were true supporters of the Imam would have appeared by now. The Imam is looking for 313 members, supporters. That's every single hadith says that when the Imam has 313 supporters, he will appear. So when the Imam did not appear so far, what does that tell you? That he does not have 313 supporters. Are you serious? There are millions of Shia around the world who love the Imam. Yes, that's true, but that does not make them all true supporters of the Imam. That makes them lovers of the Imam. They love the Imam, no doubt. I have no doubt that every single person in this room loves the Imam. We adore the Imam. But the Imam, remember my dear brothers and sisters, the Imam alayhi salam is not looking for lovers. The Imam has no fan club. The Imam alayhi salam, when he appears, most likely he will not take selfie with his lovers. He is not going to give his autograph. The Imam is not going to act like a celebrity. What the Imam wants, what the Imam needs, he needs followers, he needs supporters, he needs soldiers. Are we soldiers of the Imam? Are we willing to go with him wherever he takes us? Ask yourself this question. If the Imam alayhi salam appears today and he asks you to relinquish your comfortable life in Chicago suburbs, in Detroit suburbs, in California suburbs, to leave your livelihood, your business, and join him in Kufa, are you ready for that? If the Imam asks you to leave everything and go with him, what is your answer for him? Are you going to tell him, I have to ask my wife first, my boss? Or you're going to tell him, yes sir, I'm ready, I go with you anywhere you take me? That is the real supporter of the Imam. But to have 1,000 excuses for the Imam, I'm sorry Imam, I really love you. I'm willing to give you my khums. I'm willing even to give you my Lexus car. I'm willing to give you my mansion, but please don't ask me to join you. I can't do this. I have business. You know, I see some people, I ask them, where are you on Fridays? Why don't I see you on the Friday prayer? Sayyidina, I have business. You have business? Allah says it in the Quran. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. Leave your business. How many of us would heed the call of the Quran by leaving our business? Not many. Not many. If everybody leaves his business on a Friday and goes to the Friday prayer, you would not see room for anybody in the Friday prayer. Allah is telling us on the day of Jumu'ah, leave everything and come to me, and we don't. We love Allah, but we tell him, Allah, forgive us. Sorry, we have business. I have gas station to run. You know, I want to remind you of a very telling a story that happened with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We always say in Arabic, of course, يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. I wish I was at the time of Imam Hussein. Okay, so if you were at the time of Imam Hussein, what would you have done? I would have supported him. Are you serious? Are you for real? If you want to support him, support his son now. Imam al-Mahdi will tell you, I am the Hussein of the time. You wanted all your life to join my grandfather Hussein. Come now and join me. When Imam Hussein was heading to Karbala, he met a guy. You can search him. His name is Abdullah ibn al-Hurr al-Ju'fi. A very brave man. A very brave man, an honorable man. The Imam asked him to join him. Imam Hussein asked Ubaidullah to join him. And Ubaidullah told the Imam, I love you. I love you, Ibn Rasulullah, so much. But please forgive me. I can't join you. I can't join you because I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die. However, because I love you, I have this horse. Great horse. I want to give to you as a gift. The Imam looks at him and he smiles and he says, I don't need your horse. You think I am in the business of collecting horses? I'm giving you the opportunity to support Allah. You're giving me your horse? I don't need your horse. And then as you have given me your advice, I want to give you my advice. Make sure the day of Ashura, when time comes and I'm calling for supporters, make sure you stay away and you do not hear my voice begging for support. فَوَاللَّهِ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ مَا أَحَدٌ يَسْمَعُ وَاعِيَتَنَا وَلَا يُجِبْنَا إِلَّا وَأَكَبَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى مِنْخَرَيْهِ فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ. I swear by Allah, if you hear my voice and you do not support me in the day of Ashura, you will go straight to hell. Stay away. If you don't want to be killed, then stay away. Don't ever listen my voice when I am begging for help. Because if you hear my voice begging for help and you do not answer, you're in trouble. So I would like to sum up with one word, my dear brothers and sisters, that we all love the Imam alayhi salam. And in order to maintain a close relationship, we need also to make sure that we are of his supporters as well. When time comes, the Imam asks me to join him. He may not ask me to join him, but I should be ready to join him if he asks me. Am I ready to go and join him? Am I ready to leave my livelihood? You know, some people now go to Iraq. Now, they go to Iraq. There is no electricity in Iraq. In the 24 hours, there are 6 hours of electricity. And sometimes 4 hours, and sometimes 0. Sheikh Azhar can tell you. Some people go for ziyarah for 1 week. They come back. They tell me, Sayyid, alhamdulillah, it is over, only 1 week. I couldn't stay more. It's too hot in Iraq. If the Imam appears and he is going to use Kufa, Najaf as his capital, and he asked me to join him, am I willing to leave my very comfortable life here in America and go there? That is the question, my dear brothers and sisters. That's why in the ahadith, it says when the Imam appears, there are some Shia people. Some Shia, I'm not talking about ISIS. Some Shia people will tell him, اذهب يا ابن فاطمة فلا حاجة لنا بك. Some Shia people will tell the Imam, we don't need you, just go back. We were enjoying our life before you came. Now you came to trouble our life. We don't need this trouble. This is what some fake Shia will say to the Imam. I am being told that my time is over. I would like to conclude my presentation, my dear brothers and sisters, with the dua for Al-Imam. I ask you all to stand up and recite دعاء الفرج for the Imam عجل الله تعالى فرجه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين.